Ever wondered why some guys walk into a room and instantly draw female attention without saying a word? No flashy clothes. No pickup lines. Just presence. You've been told it's about muscles, money, or saying the right thing. But then you see her gravitate toward the guy who says nothing, calm, unreadable, unbothered. What does he have that others don't? It's not charm. It's not game. It's something deeper. Something primal. This video isn't about tricks or tactics. It's about decoding the female gaze. And at the end, I'll show you the one trait Stoic men have that makes women silently obsessed, while other men get overlooked. You've probably heard of the male gaze, how men are drawn to physical features, movement, and visual appeal. It's straightforward, instant, almost biological. But the female gaze? It's more complex, more layered, and way more powerful. See, when a woman looks at a man, she's not just scanning his body, she's scanning his energy. His presence, the way he holds himself when no one's watching. While the male gaze is visual, the female gaze is emotional. It's about how you make her feel when you walk into a room. She notices the way you carry silence, the way you respond, not react, the way you seem in control of yourself, even when everything's chaotic around you. Let's break it down. The male gaze tends to be objectifying. It often focuses on appearance, symmetry, youth, beauty, sensuality. But the female gaze isn't looking for perfection. She's looking for intention, for depth, for a man who doesn't need the room, but makes the room pause when he enters. She notices subtleties. Is he calm or anxious? Is he grounded or easily flustered? Does he over-explain, or is he secure in his silence? And here's where it gets really interesting. What women are subconsciously scanning for isn't always what they'll say out loud. They may talk about confidence or humor. But underneath, they're sensing for safety, not physical safety alone, but emotional safety. Can she be around you without feeling chaos? Power, not dominance, but internal power. Are you in control of yourself? Your emotions? Your world? Emotional discipline. Can you handle pressure, tension, challenge without losing your center? These qualities aren't loud. They're not flashy. They don't show up in Instagram reels, but they hit different. They land deep. And when a woman senses them, she doesn't just look at you, she feels you. She'll tell her friends, there's something about him. I don't know what it is. He just feels different. That something is the very thing most men overlook. You don't need to chase. You don't need to prove yourself. You just need to become a man whose internal world is unshakable. Because once you are, the female gaze locks in. It studies you. It lingers. And it wonders, why does this man feel so rare? Now here's the secret most guys miss. You don't perform for the female gaze. You align with it by becoming more of who you already are, just minus the noise, minus the neediness, minus the emotional chaos. And this is exactly where Stoicism quietly dominates. Because the Stoic man doesn't overshare. He doesn't oversell. He doesn't seek validation. Instead, he owns his presence. He speaks only when needed, and when he does, every word lands with weight. He doesn't react emotionally. He observes. He thinks. He acts with intention. That level of emotional sovereignty is magnetic. It's addictive. It's rare. The truth is, women aren't looking for a man who's always smiling, always talking, or always trying to please. That's noise. That's performance. They're looking for a man who is still, centered, present. A man who feels like a mountain, immovable, solid, and impossible to ignore. So if you've ever wondered why the loud, flashy guys often burn out quickly, and why the quiet, centered ones leave a deeper mark, it's because the female gaze doesn't chase noise. It's drawn to signal. The signal of a man who knows himself. The signal of a man who's not easily moved. The signal of a man who, in a world that's always rushing, knows how to pause. And guess what? You can cultivate that. It's not about genetics. It's not about status. It's about mastering your inner world. Because when you do, you won't need to try to be attractive. You'll just be it. So now that you know how the female gaze really works, let's go even deeper. In the next section, we'll uncover the exact Stoic traits that quietly trigger female attraction without you having to say a single word. So now you understand the female gaze isn't about what you look like. It's about what you radiate. Let's go deeper into why Stoicism, in particular, is so irresistibly attractive to women. The Stoic man isn't trying to impress anyone. He's not overcompensating. He doesn't need to prove he's the strongest, the smartest, or the richest. Why? Because he already knows who he is. And that's exactly what makes him different. Let's break it down. 1. Emotional control first. A Stoic man has emotional control. He doesn't let his feelings dictate his actions. He feels, but he doesn't react. He pauses. He processes. Then he responds. That kind of self-mastery is rare and incredibly magnetic. Because here's the truth. Most people, especially in relationships, live in emotional chaos. Arguments, outbursts, mood swings, overreactions. But the Stoic man? He doesn't get dragged into that. And for a woman, that kind of stability is intoxicating. She knows this man won't lose himself in drama. He won't shout. He won't beg. He won't panic. He'll hold his ground, and in doing so, he creates a space where she can relax. Because women crave emotional safety, and Stoic men offer it without chaos. 2. Calm presence. Then there's the calm presence. When you walk into a room, are you anxious, fidgety, trying to be noticed? Or are you simply there? The Stoic man enters quietly, but leaves a lasting impression. His calm is louder than any words. His body language is grounded. He moves with intention. He speaks with purpose. And when he's silent, that silence isn't awkward. It's powerful. A woman sees this and feels, this man is not easily shaken. 3. Purpose-driven. Now let's talk about purpose. The Stoic man is not just calm, he's directed. He's building something. Maybe it's a business, a mission, a lifestyle. But whatever it is, he's walking a path that doesn't require applause. And here's the twist. That sense of purpose makes women feel safe too. Because it signals consistency, discipline, depth. She knows he's not drifting, he's moving forward. And women respect men who are going somewhere. 4. Detachment, and then detachment. Not coldness, not apathy, but the ability to remain whole, even when things fall apart. The Stoic man can love deeply, but he doesn't cling. He can enjoy connection, but he doesn't depend on it to feel complete. That kind of detachment is rare and deeply attractive. Because most men collapse under pressure. They chase. They obsess. They overinvest. But the Stoic man? He lets go when it's time. And because of that, he becomes the man women don't want to lose. Now here's the micro payoff. You don't need to say you're confident. You don't need to convince her. You don't need to impress anyone. Stoicism makes them feel it. When you carry yourself with quiet self-respect. When you speak only when needed. When you walk away without drama. It hits different. It tells her, I'm good, with or without your approval. And that energy? It's addictive. It sticks in her mind. She may not even know why, but she'll feel it. So if you want to stand out, not by chasing, but by attracting, then understand this. The Stoic man is the silent storm, and women feel safest in his calm. Let's break down exactly what women are drawn to, what they feel when they observe a man through the lens of the female gaze. It's not about loud gestures, or witty lines, or social media flexing. It's about subtle power. And here are the 5 traits that quietly pull her in. 1. Stillness. Stillness is magnetic. When you're still, you're not fidgeting. You're not adjusting your shirt, tapping your foot, or over-explaining every move. You're simply there, calm, composed, and fully present. Most people can't sit in silence without needing to fill it. But when you do, it radiates strength. It tells her, I'm comfortable in my own skin. And that stillness? It speaks louder than 100 rehearsed lines. Women don't say it, but they feel it. 2. Control the motion. Control the motion doesn't mean you're a robot. It means you're in charge of how you feel and how you express it. You don't lash out. You don't chase. You don't beg. You respond, not react. You're not emotionally shut off. You're just selective. You don't throw tantrums. You don't crumble under pressure. Instead, you channel your emotions into clarity, not chaos. And when she sees that, she knows you're the calm in the storm. You don't just make her feel safe. You make her feel seen because you're not distracted by your own emotional noise. Women don't say it, but they feel it. 3. Purposeful silence. You don't talk just to fill space. You speak when you have something real to say, and when you do, your words land harder. They carry weight because you've built the habit of thinking before speaking. You're not looking to impress. You're expressing from depth. This kind of silence isn't awkward. It's powerful. It makes people lean in. It makes her curious. Why is he so quiet? What's going on in his mind? That's when the mystery starts. That's when you become unforgettable. Women don't say it, but they feel it. 4. Self-reliance. You don't need anyone to validate you. You're not looking for attention, likes, or constant reassurance. You're self-sourced. You generate your own confidence, your own focus, your own sense of direction. She watches you and sees a man who doesn't chase approval because you already approve of yourself. And that is powerful, because while others are trying to impress her, you're simply living your truth, with or without applause. And when she senses that, she leans in, because now she's the one chasing clarity in a world full of noise. Women don't say it, but they feel it. 5. Grounded presence. This is the crown jewel. You're not just calm, you're rooted. Your energy doesn't float. It anchors. You walk like someone who knows where he's going. You speak like someone who knows what he stands for. You're in control of your environment, your mind, your mission. And when you stand like that, when your presence says, I'm here, and nothing's pulling me off balance, you become the man she trusts. Not because you asked for it, but because you embodied it. And trust me, women don't say it, but they feel it. When you develop these traits not to impress, but because they reflect who you really are, you stop chasing attraction and start commanding it. Because in the end, the female gaze doesn't respond to performance. It responds to presence. Now, let's flip the script. Because while there are traits that trigger the female gaze, there are also things it completely ignores, despite what pop culture might tell you. Let's start with the most common myth: flashy cars? Meh. Sure, they turn heads. But here's the truth. Status symbols don't equal depth. You might impress for a second. She might notice the engine, the shine, the brand. But after that, she's watching you, not your car. And if the energy behind the wheel is insecure, reactive, or performative, it all falls flat. A flashy lifestyle without internal substance? It's just noise. And the female gaze tunes that out quickly. Six-pack abs? Nice, but not essential. Look, physical fitness is great. Take care of yourself. Be strong. Be healthy. But don't think abs are your ticket to long-term attraction. Because muscles might spark interest, but they don't hold it. They don't create tension. They don't leave an emotional imprint. A man with presence, discipline, and quiet power will outlast the six-pack every time. Why? Because his attraction isn't skin deep. It's energy deep. Funny? Sure, but not goofy. Humor is a powerful tool. It disarms. It connects. It makes people feel good. But here's where it backfires. When it becomes a performance. If you're always joking, always trying to get a laugh, always on, you start to feel like a clown, not a man. The female gaze appreciates humor, but it respects restraint. If you can be funny and grounded, you've got something powerful. But if you're goofy, loud, always fishing for attention, she'll laugh and then forget you. What gets overlooked? When you're too available or reactive, this one's big. When you're always available, always texting back instantly, always saying yes, always showing up with nothing else going on, it sends a signal you may not realize. I don't have a mission. I don't have boundaries. I'm waiting on you to fill the space. And women sense that. It doesn't make them feel special. It makes them feel like you're orbiting their world. What really captures their attention? A man who has his own world and occasionally invites her in. Now add reactivity into the mix. You get jealous quickly. You get upset when plans change. You overreact to little things. That kind of emotional volatility is exhausting. It pushes her away, even if she can't explain why. Because again, the female gaze is drawn to stability, not sensitivity. Let's be clear, vulnerability is powerful, but timing is everything. If you unload your deepest wounds too soon, if you cry in the first week, if you rely on her for emotional regulation, it doesn't build connection, it builds pressure. And instead of being seen as emotionally aware, you're seen as emotionally dependent. That's not what she wants. She wants a man who feels, yes, but who doesn't need to bleed in order to bond. You can share. You can open up. But do it from a place of strength, not desperation. That's what makes her lean in. So no, it's not about the car, the abs, or the jokes. It's about your energy, your presence, your self-control. The female gaze sees through performance. It scans for depth. And the moment you start relying on external tricks to gain her attention, you've already lost her interest. There's one trait, just one, that sits quietly beneath everything we've talked about. It's not what most men focus on. It's not taught in schools. You won't see it on dating apps. And yet, it's the one thing women become obsessed with often without knowing why. It's called emotional sovereignty. Let me break that down. Emotional sovereignty isn't just calmness. It's not about pretending nothing affects you. It's about owning your emotional world. You don't ignore emotions. You don't suppress them. You just don't serve them. You don't let them drive your actions. You feel jealousy, but you don't spiral. You feel attraction, but you don't chase. You feel anger, but you don't explode. You remain centered. That's emotional sovereignty. I feel what I feel, but I don't hand those feelings over to anyone else. You are the king of your internal kingdom. And no one sits on that throne but you. Why women are drawn to this? Because in a world full of emotionally fragile men, a man who is unmoved, unfazed, and untethered, that's rare. That's dangerously attractive. It's not arrogance. It's not coldness. It's gravity. She can flirt. She can tease. She can test your boundaries. And you remain still. You don't overreact. You don't rush to prove anything. You don't need her to validate your worth. Instead, you create this irresistible tension, the kind of tension that makes her wonder, why doesn't he need me like others do? Why is he so calm when I'm trying to stir something in him? That's the pull. That's the mystery. It's what keeps her thinking about you after you've left the room. Most men fail this test. They get too emotional too soon. They overshare their pain. They try to win sympathy. They confuse vulnerability with emotional dumping. And here's the problem. The moment she feels like she's emotionally stronger than you, she begins to lose respect. She may stay polite. She may show compassion. But deep down, she no longer sees you as the mountain. She sees you as the storm. And women don't obsess over storms. They try to survive them. Emotional sovereignty in action. So how do you show it? You walk away when needed, with grace, not bitterness. You speak clearly, but not to control. You remain calm in the heat of arguments. You don't beg. You don't chase. You observe. You think. And then you act with intention. This doesn't make you heartless. It makes you whole. And ironically, when you become whole, you become the man women want to open up to. Because they sense they won't get swallowed in your chaos. They'll feel safe around you, not because you said so, but because your energy proves it. So many men think they need to do more, say more, show more, give more. But the truth is, the deepest form of attraction comes not from what you give her. It comes from what you withhold, not out of games, not out of manipulation, but out of discipline. When you maintain your emotional center, no matter what she says or does, she'll respect you. She'll feel your weight, and she'll think about you long after the moment ends. Emotional sovereignty isn't about winning her. It's about becoming a man who doesn't need to win because he's already enough. And once you become that man, she'll feel it, she'll admire it, and she'll never forget it. So, after everything we've explored, the female gaze, stoic energy, emotional presence, here's what it all comes down to. It's not about what you do. It's about who you are when you do nothing. That silence you sit in, that calm you carry, that energy you project without trying to control anything. That's the real you she's responding to. Not your looks, not your lines, not your bank account. It's the way you hold yourself when nothing needs to be said. That's the signal. And now, here's your challenge. For the next 7 days, I want you to practice something that most men never master, emotional silence. Not shutting down, not ghosting people, but learning to sit in your stillness. Without reacting, without chasing, without over-explaining. Next time someone triggers you, pause. Next time you feel the urge to seek validation, breathe. Next time you're tempted to prove your worth, don't. Let your presence speak louder than your performance. For 7 days, just be. No chasing, no proving, no unnecessary explaining. Just stillness, observation, intention, and watch, seriously watch, how the energy around you begins to shift. You'll notice how much noise others make. You'll see how addicted people are to reactions, and you'll feel your power rise in that silence. That's the beginning of emotional sovereignty. That's the core of stoic attraction. And once you tap into it, you'll never need to chase again. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these traits surprised you the most? Have you experienced this shift since becoming more stoic? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every one. And if this video hit something deep, like it, share it, and subscribe. Because this journey is just getting started. Because yes, this power has a flip side. And if you're not careful, you'll go from centered to cold, from strong to numb. But we'll talk about that soon. Until then, stay grounded, Stay silent. And remember, she doesn't fall for the loudest man in the room. She remembers the one who didn't need to speak.